So the problem with a lot of these studies that correlate animal products with disease is that they're population studies that can only prove correlation rather than causation. Or they're observational trials that are based on food questionnaires. And pretty much all of these studies, they don't specify exactly what people are eating. You don't know if these people are eating vegetables in the form of French fries and ketchup or potatoes and tomatoes. And there's actually studies that try to say vegetables could possibly be negative on health. Maybe it's because they don't specify between French fries and potatoes. Or fruit juice and whole fruit, right? They could just consider that a serving of fruits and vegetables. Believe it or not, if you look at this and you actually look into it, this is actually true. They actually don't specify between fruit juice and whole fruit. As far as the government is concerned, that's a serving of fruits and vegetables. And nowhere in the study does it show, nowhere in the study does it specify a difference between people who are eating red meat in the form of hamburgers with French fries and sodas, or red meat in the form of steak, vegetables, and whole grains. Okay? I can guarantee you the vast majority of people in these population studies, they're average people who eat red meat as a part of a junk food diet. Okay? Think about it. Where there's red meat, there's more and more junk. Okay? Where there's red meat, there's sodas, there's potato chips, there's deep fried junk. Chicken fried steaks, if you look at the southern United States, they have the highest rates of heart disease. What else do they have the highest rates of? They also eat the most deep fried foods. That's what we're known for in the South and South America. Or, sorry, not South America, South United States. I'm sorry, Southern United States. We eat a lot of deep fried foods. Okay, Southern United States eats a lot of deep fried foods, and they have the highest rates of heart disease in the entire United States. And we know deep fried foods are directly related to heart disease, and based on mechanistic data, it's shown pretty strongly that deep fried foods increase rates of cancer and heart disease. Okay, so what else do they not control for? Well, some studies control for fruit and vegetable intake, but that doesn't really serve anyone any justice when fruits and vegetables can include French fries and ketchup. Because everybody who eats red meat in the United States probably eats a lot of French fries and ketchup, okay? And this could be considered fruit and vegetable intake. So a supersized French fry with a Big Mac, I mean, they're getting lettuce, tomato, they're getting ketchup, and they're getting a large fry. So that's a lot of deep fried potatoes and high fructose corn syrup infused tomato paste to go along with your hamburger cooked in grill oil, which is oxidized vegetable oils. Seriously, this is largely what we're basing this red meat increases risk of disease on. Okay, this is what we're basing this animal products causes disease on. Now I like to focus on red meat because I can tell you red meat for sure is being wrongly accused. Now, dairy consumption is a different story. Mechanistically speaking, casein protein has been shown pretty conclusively that it seems to increase cancer growth. Okay, but that's a whole nother video to get into. So, listen, if you're eating red meat if you're eating red meat in a largely plant-based diet, okay, like for example, Paleo people who do it right, they eat a large amount of fruits and vegetables, or a large amount of vegetables. Like a huge salad, a huge, kale shake, right? 8 cups of vegetables a day, as well as maybe a pound of red meat. I know the vegans who are brainwashed into thinking that red meat's bad because population studies say so, or the Adventist health studies said so, or the blue zones where they eat a lot of fish and they eat a lot of pork, but they try to tell you it's plant-based, they try to tell you it's vegan. They told me red meat's bad, so a pound of red meat a day, oh my God, that's a dead carcass. Yeah, potato dies too after you pick it. But that's different. Anyway. Somebody who eats a lot of fruits and vegetables as well as red meat is unlikely to suffer from the same diseases as people who eat red meat with sodas, vegetable oil, deep fried potato wedges. People who go to barbecues, which is one of the highest amounts of red meat consumption in the United States, is during like Super Bowl and Easter and whatnot. They go to barbecues. At barbecues, they eat potato chips. They drink sodas like water. There's a lot of alcohol drinking, which we know mechanistically and based on observation causes heart disease and other diseases like cancer. This is the big problem with the data suggesting animal products cause disease, is that we're not specifying between potato chip red meat diets and broccoli red meat diets, okay? And also, typically, people who eat more red meat are less health conscious in the average society. Because in average society, everyone thinks red meat is bad. So obviously, if they care about their health, they're going to automatically assume red meat is bad based on all the shit they hear. And so these people are going to eat, chicken and maybe go vegan, okay, because they think veganism is the best thing. And they're going to also avoid candy bars, sugar, sodas, potato chips, French fries, okay? Think about it. A health-conscious person, as a side effect, is going to remove red meat from their diet in average society because they don't know about the deeper science like a lot of other people do. So these population studies, if they control for healthy lifestyle, the healthy people aren't going to be eating red meat usually. Unless they're like bodybuilders, but then what about steroids and other things? Mechanistically speaking, we know, for example, Vegan Gains likes to always talk about homocysteine. Okay, well, eggs, they have high levels of cysteine and methionine, which increases homocysteine in the blood, and homocysteine increases inflammation and increases your risk of diseases. Yes, homocysteine in the blood does definitely put you at higher risk for many diseases and causes systemic inflammation. It's inflammatory. But the whole egg, including the yolk, contains choline and B vitamins, which we know remove homocysteine from the blood. And actually what they really do is it converts homocysteine and glutathione. So cysteine and methionine combine, and they're a precursor to homocysteine. And homocysteine, along with choline, vitamin B6 and B12, and I believe folate, are precursors to glutathione. And glutathione is your body's master endogenous antioxidant, which is extremely anti-inflammatory, and it's actually suggested to be even more powerful than vitamin C and vitamin E. So increasing glutathione with eggs could possibly be extremely anti-inflammatory. And if you look at the people who eat nothing but red meat or eat the steak and eggs diet, all of these people, if you could search it up on the Facebook groups, on Reddit, and even on YouTube now. Look at all the people posting their experiences on these diets. Okay, hundreds and hundreds of people eating steak and egg diets with nothing else, like these carnivore diets. They have calcium artery or coronary artery calcium scans, and they show their score improves, and they have zero calcification of their arteries, which is a golden standard, no matter what people tell you. They have lower blood markers of inflammation. Their inflammation levels in their blood goes down. Their triglycerides go down. Their blood sugar gets better, except for Sean Baker. What the fuck? They reverse diabetes. They reverse gout. They reverse their chronic inflammatory conditions like arthritis. So how the fuck can you say, and by the way, I'm not a carnivore, okay? I just eat a lot of red meat as a part of a balanced diet. Food is medicine is what I follow. How the fuck can animal products cause all these diseases when people are reversing all their diseases eating nothing but red meat and eggs? That doesn't make any sense. And that all comes down to the flaws in the population studies and the observational food questionnaire researches that Vegan Gains and all these people use, and the half-truth mechanistic data people use. A homocysteine increased inflammation, bro. That's why eggs are bad for you. Not to mention they have high amounts of saturated fat. Yeah, 1 gram of saturated fat, and then 2 grams of monounsaturated and 2 grams of polyunsaturated. Okay, compared to the entire fatty acid composition of a whole egg, saturated fat is not really that high. Okay, yeah, but for every gram of saturated fat that you increase in your diet, you increase your heart disease risk by 2%. So if you just eat 1 gram, that's a 2% higher risk of heart disease. But then if you eat 2 grams of saturated fat, your risk goes up by 4%. A 4% increase is a big increase. Like, the percentages and the statistics and this and that compared to the people who are actually eating nothing but red meat, and then considering the mechanistic data that shows eggs actually increase endogenous antioxidant systems. And then also this whole thing about scurvy. Oh, you're not getting vitamin C. Well, these people that are eating nothing but, steak and eggs, there must be something else going on. There's a lot of suggestions. I think it's safe to say that the status quo has been wrong. The popular information that people have been spewing about heart disease and animal products is wrong. And even this idea that we need vegetables in our diet, which again, I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. I think that people need to open their fucking minds and let go of their biases and their preconceived beliefs. Okay, people who say, these carnivore people, it's just anecdotes. There's hundreds and hundreds of people, like regular people. You can see their Facebook profiles in these groups who are reversing diseases on this diet. I'm not saying that I'm not saying it's perfectly healthy. I'm just saying it's hard to believe that animal products cause disease when you consider these people's experiences. Hundreds and hundreds of people. That's a lot. You can do a study with these people. This would be the best study to do. People who eat nothing but red meat and eggs on this carnivore diet. That would prove conclusively what's really going on here. So anyway, anecdotes are not useless, okay? If anecdotes are useless, population data is useless. But I don't believe that. I believe population data just gives you greater insight into more questions to be asked and more research to be done. Same thing goes for anecdotes, especially hundreds and hundreds of people who are eating nothing but red meat and eggs. I know it's hard to fucking believe, and it probably hurts a lot of people's ego, like, oh shit, my religion, oh fuck, like I can't believe this, there's no way, there's gotta be something else. Vegans are now saying that coronary artery calcium scans are useless because people eating nothing but red meat have perfect coronary artery calcium scores. It's because they can't, there's no way that red meat and it can't cause heart disease, right? So they have to backtrack now. What was I going to say? Okay, so the last thing I want to say is, listen, I have not found any proof that serum cholesterol causes heart disease, or that dietary saturated fat and cholesterol, because that's the thing. So dietary saturated fat does increase serum cholesterol. It does. But why does serum cholesterol have this causation assumption associated with heart disease? Okay? So during heart disease, higher LDL cholesterol in the blood is present, right? It might be present. Higher LDL cholesterol is present during heart disease. What else is present during heart disease? Frequent doctor visits. Okay? Frequent doctor visits are directly associated, directly linked to heart disease. Does that mean that doctor visits might cause heart disease? Wow, what the fuck? And what about hospital beds? Hospital beds are directly linked to hospital visits. Does that mean that hospital beds cause cancer and heart disease? Whoa, no. It's a correlation, right? And I'm sure, and you know, you can definitely find mechanistic data to back up the assumption that doctor visits increase your risk of heart disease. It's correlated, and we got mechanistic data. The stress of a doctor's visit might cause inflammation to your artery. Mechanistic data. Wow, what the fuck? Doctor visits cause heart disease. This is an example of the stupidity it's the ignorance. People like, oh, it's correlation. High LDL is directly linked to heart disease. And there's mechanistic data to back it up. Show me proof, scientific proof that high serum cholesterol causes heart disease. Okay? Is high serum LDL cholesterol a correlation or a causation? So far, it seems like nothing but a correlation to the same degree as doctor visits during heart disease and hospital beds during hospital visits. Do hospital visits cause disease? Do doctor visits cause disease? Does high serum cholesterol cause disease? Or are they all just correlations? What about all the junk that people eat alongside bacon, eggs, red meat? That could explain why it's associated with heart disease in population studies. And what about the studies that claim fructose consumption increases fatty liver disease and increases heart disease and increases diabetes? Is it fructose, or is it fruit juice and high fructose corn syrup? What if you eat that fructose in the form of a whole fruit? Does it matter, vegans, or does it not matter? Because saying cholesterol and saturated fat increases your risk of heart disease because it increases LDL cholesterol is very similar to saying fructose consumption increases your risk of diabetes because it increases blood sugar and blah, blah, blah. But in the form of a whole food, it has different effects in the body. Mechanistically, of course. So leave your questions in the comments down below, and please post proof that serum cholesterol causes heart disease. Okay, if you're gonna fucking post comments down below, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, oh, like it's pretty obvious that red meat causes heart disease. If it's so obvious, show me the proof. Okay, it's only obvious to you because you're a gullible fuck who just believes everything that you hear. You don't see, the thing is, I've read probably more of the vegan studies than you have, but I exercise skepticism, and I'm constantly digging to find where the fuck are they getting this huge confidence from. Okay? Send me a fucking study, or explain logic, or try to debunk my points instead of just saying meaningless statements. Oh, you're wrong. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, big boy. Well, if that's fucking true, how about you give me some fucking facts so that to base your logic on? Fuck boy. Crazy shit. Leave your let me know. Debunk me with facts, please. Thank you.